Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 239th part of explanation of my theory. According to my theory and my formulas, the fall of gravity theories, proofs of galactic formation theory of Arıdaşır, me. Spiral galactic shapes represent intrinsic giant electron motion form which rotates around its motion arrow axis. There are different wavelength sizes kind electron motion forms, intrinsic electron motion forms of meta sensation perception matter. Most common wavelength size 91.155 nanometer wavelength size electron motion form in all of our atoms. But black holes are giant electron motion forms also. They have big radius or wavelength. Here, two-dimensional electron motion form. This is motion arrow. Think of three-dimensional, spherical, ring shape, and two-side, bidirectional, in all direction, for all direction, in the context of two-dimensional projection, it is bidirectional. This is so important. Yes, spiral galactic shapes represent intrinsic giant electron motion form which rotates around its motion arrow axis. Think of this electron motion form in one direction, here or there, or like this, rotates around its motion arrow axis. Then its waves motion, surface motion, motion lines, motion curves, motion cycles will seem to us as if spiral in the context of two-dimensional projection, like this, like spiral galaxies. Spiral galaxies. At the center of spiral galaxies, a spiral galaxy, there is a giant electron motion form, in other words, a black hole, which is rotating its motion arrow axis. According to my theory and my formulas, I concluded, wait a moment, spiral galactic shapes represent intrinsic giant electron motion form which rotates around its motion arrow axis. According to my theory and my formulas, I concluded, I predicted, and I put forth explanations, and I found their proofs that 1. Arıdaşır's prediction conclusion. Mine prediction conclusion. Each point of spiral like this, each point, okay, each point of spiral curves in each direction must represent different linear and rotational velocity. Arıdaşır's main explanation: all solar systems and all stars align in a certain order around a giant electron motion form, in other words, around a black hole. Each spiral arms of a spiral galaxy represents distorted spherical ring-shaped wave or waves of a giant intrinsic electron motion form which is rotating around its axis. When an electron motion form relocates or in motion at each point of like this or like this is rotational, axis rotational, around axis rotational motion. This is linear motion. In this position, remember from my former videos, like this, two side, okay. Here, point velocity increase, highest, decrease, slowest, okay, like this. Here, like this, but in the same time, like this. Here, slow. Here, greater velocity. Here, slower velocity. But I cannot manage this. Okay. Yes. When an electron motion form, now, all solar systems and all stars align in a certain order around a giant electron motion form, in other words, around a black hole. Each spiral arms of a spiral galaxy represents distorted spherical ring-shaped wave or waves of a giant intrinsic electron motion form which is rotating around its axis. When an electron motion form relocates or in motion at each point of its wave surfaces, point wave velocity, point mass, point wavelength, point angular momentum, point linear velocity, point energy change vary. So each spiral arm's corresponding point at any certain angle, an aligned star's linear velocity and rotational velocity would mimic this variability and would imitate the increasing of point linear velocity and point angular velocity of a wave at the rate of point wavelength size. Proof of observation: galactic rotation curve discrepancy. As the distance from the center of galaxy increases, star's rotational velocity increases. Here, slower, greater, slower, greater, slower, greater. Here, greater, greater, greatest. Okay, like this. Because here wavelength narrower, here wavelength larger. Okay. Here wavelength smallest, here wavelength largest. Here slow increase. Like this. Slow increase. Like this. Okay. In the same time, opposite directions. Don't forget this. Okay. Yes. Yes. 2. Arıdaşır's prediction conclusion. Mine prediction conclusion. While some spiral arms rotate in one direction, some spiral arms must rotate in the opposite direction in the context of two-dimensional projection. Arıdaşır's main explanation. Each cycle of electron motion form is bidirectional. Remember, like this, bidirectional. Okay. In the context of two-dimensional projection. Yes. Arıdaşır's explanation. Each cycle of electron motion form is bidirectional in the context of two-dimensional projection. When an electron motion form rotates around its motion arrow axis, its waveforms changes and come out as a spiral shapes in the context of two-dimensional projection. Some part of surfaces of these spiral motion forms would rotate in one direction, and some part of surfaces of these spiral motion forms would rotate in opposite direction. Proof observation. Some of spiral arms of galaxy rotate in one direction, some of spiral arms of galaxy rotate in opposite direction. Like what? Like this. Like this. Yes. Here the source. Source is Quora. Which direction does the Milky Way rotate? Here. This is one of proofs of my theory. Here the source. Yes. Different rotation of spiral arms. Here. Yes. Yes. Yes. 3. Arıdaşır's prediction and conclusion. Mine prediction and conclusion. While some stars rotates in spiral arms in one direction, some stars must rotate in opposite direction. Arıdaşır's mine explanation. Because all stars align in a certain order around a black hole, and that certain order determined by distorted wave shape as spiral arms weave as a result of rotating of a black hole around its axis. Because all stars aligned in spiral arms and some of spiral arms rotate in one direction and some of spiral arms rotate in opposite direction, stars would imitate this bidirectionality. Proof observation. If you ask as counter-rotating stars title, you can find proof of my theory. 4. Arıdaşır's prediction and conclusion. My prediction and conclusion. While some of magnetic field curves would be in one direction parallel to spiral arms, some of magnetic field curves would be in opposite direction parallel to spiral arms. Arıdaşır's main explanation. Magnetic fields must represent intrinsic electron motion forms waves, spherical ring-shaped motions in meta-sensation perception matter. Therefore, magnetic fields must be bidirectional in spiral galaxies, as I explained above. Proofs, observations. Here. Look at that. Look at these directionality. According to my theory and my formulas, my drawings. Here, this side, and here, opposite side. Like what? Like this. Just like this. Look at that. Compare with that, okay? Left side observation, right side my theory. Yes, please compare. Yes. Here. Yes. And another page. Here. And here. Source. Tess R. Jaffe. Practical modeling of large-scale galactic magnetic fields. Status and prospects. Here. Source. Below. These two pictures, source, okay? Yes. Yes. 5. Another sources about magnetic fields. Here, one of the sources. Proof. One of the proof. Yes. Sources. F. Fletcher, R. Beck, A. Fletcher, R. Beck, A. Shukuro, E. M. Berkhuizen, C. Horellu. Magnetic fields and spiral arms in the galaxy M51. Source below, I wrote. Yes. I hope you see. Look at that. Then, yes, here another proof for spiral arms, different opposite directions. Here. Sources below. Here, which direction does the Milky Way rotate? Milky Way rotates. Source Quora. Yes. Arıdaşır's main explanation. Magnetic fields must represent intrinsic electron motion forms waves, spherical ring-shaped motions in meta-sensation perception matter. Therefore, magnetic fields must be bidirectional in spiral galaxies, as I explained above. Yes. 5. Eventually, there is no gravity, there is no pulling force in spiral galaxy formation, and in a spiral galaxy. All galactic motions of stars follow the surface motion of the wave of giant electron motion form, which is rotating around its axis, and the stars follow bidirectionality of cycles of the wave's motion by following these motion forms, motion trails. Have a good evening. See you later.